just mixing up some yellows for the daffodils, and I'm wetting my paper now. And I'm just putting on the light yellow. It's a lemon yellow. It's quite a sort of medium watery sort of wash. And I've actually speeded this up because there's a lot of painting in this YouTube video. So this is the lighter colour I'm putting on. And the other yellow I'm using is Winsor Newton Cadmium yellow. And it's a little bit of a deeper yellow. So it just gives that lovely warmth to the daffodils. So I'm just using that colour now. So this is Wet in Wet. This yellow colour as well is slightly creamier than the previous colour, which is like the lemon yellow. So I'm putting it in Wet into Wet, and I'm putting it where the colour's a little bit deeper and a little bit warmer. The brush that I'm using is a size 10 Winsor & Newton sable brush, but you can use anything from a size 6 to a size 12 or 14, whatever you feel comfortable using, but you want to be able to load the paint and put it on. If you notice, I'm back and forth with my brush all the time, getting fresh paint. So try to keep the paper, the surface of the painting, the same sort of consistency of wetness, if that makes any sense. So you don't want dry bits somewhere and it really puddly somewhere else. Try and keep it all consistent. So now I've just added a tiny bit of permanent rose to this cadmium yellow colour, and as you can see, it's quite creamy. I just want to make a really sort of rich orangey colour for the centre of the daffodils, and I'm painting carefully around the sort of centre bit there where I've drawn it. The paper is actually dry. I actually dried this in the sunshine, believe it or not, and not with my hairdryer. But sometimes it depends what the weather's like, and if I'm in my studio, I like to pop this out and let it dry naturally in the sunshine. So now what I'm doing here is I've painted around the outside edge, and I'm using water and I'm pushing it up into that sort of creamy wash. So what you'll get is a gradual sort of dark to light effect. So you get the light bit where the water is, and I'm just using the paint thick and creamy again, just around the edges. So I'm painting damp into wet, and I'm just putting that so you get that sort of dark outline edge of the centre, the trumpet bit of the daffodil. I'm going to repeat this now on the centre flower. I hope that you're finding this helpful. I'm really trying to take you through a step-by-step stage of what my process is when I'm watercolour painting. So I'm just again using this thick creamy cadmium yellow plus a touch of permanent rose. You get a lovely natural looking orange, not too bright and sort of garish. I'm just painting this around the edge of this trumpet bit of the daffodil. Now I'm adding and pushing in water. I mean, the water is slightly orangey, but it is the colour that you're using in the painting, so it's okay. I mean, you don't want to be using water that's got green, washes of old green painted it, because you're going to get a muddy colour in your painting. So it's always good to keep refreshing your water pot. I've really speeded up the film here. It's just to really show you lots of content in this video. And we'll be painting the rest of the petals now, wet on dry, just using the cadmium yellow and just painting the slightly darker, richer, colourful areas of each petal. So I've finished painting all the petals now, and I'm actually mixing up some delicious dark greens. I'm using Prussian blue with Quinacridone gold. I'm using some Cascade green from Daniel Smith. But the thing is, you just want to make dark green. So don't worry particularly about using the exact colours I'm using. Just try and make up your own green. So you could use Viridian with some burnt sienna or burnt umber. So that's how you get a lovely dark green, or Prussian blue with burnt umber. But it's nice to vary it. So this colour here is quite a medium dark green. So this is the Prussian blue with the Quinacridone gold. Now I've actually added, as you can see, a little bit more Prussian blue. If you want to make that even darker, add Payne's grey. It's always good just to sort of play around yourself with colour mixing. Don't worry too much about getting exactly right, because it's the background. It's quite abstract, and I'm just kind of varying my colours. So I've got some mid greens and dark greens. I have again speeded up the film here It's just to, again, show you the whole entire painting. So it's a little bit faster than normal, but there's lots of little techniques I'd like to share with you still. I'm painting wet on wet because I've wet the surface with my large brush. It just gives me more time to paint large background areas, and then I'm painting in wet with the colours that I've mixed, and then with the slightly darker colours it's slightly thicker paint and it's damp into damp. So again, here the surface of the paper is wet, I'm putting in strong dark colours, either wet into wet or damp into damp. And if you see to the left there, I've actually sprinkled some salt because it's dried off a bit. So when you've got large areas of background, it's good to sort of do section by section. Don't try to do the whole thing at once. So I've actually put salt there so that it does its, because if I was to put salt right at the end, that top left hand corner would be absolutely dry. So do it piece by piece. So take your time. I find with watercolour painting, it's best to be prepared to sort of see things in advance. So when you see this video and watch this video, maybe even take some notes about what you might need, etc. on standby, so that you're not panicked and you're not rushed. I love what I'm doing now. It sounds a bit weird to sort of praise myself. I love painting in negative spaces. It really, look how it really makes that daffodil pop out just by putting that dark in. It's really, really magical. It just brings out that lovely yellow. It's almost like someone's put the lights on behind the daffodil colours. This colour I'm using here is Daniel Smith Cascade Green. I actually feel like I'm cheating with it because it creates these beautiful textured effects. I've actually got some of the Prussian blue in there as well, so it's not just that colour alone. I've put some salt on that top right hand corner now. You can see it's starting to do something, but look at that top left hand corner. Look at the salt. It's just wonderful. It's really lovely, the effect it creates. The other thing I'm going to do as well is I'm going to spatter my painting with clean water for those of you that don't want to use salt. So I completely understand if that's not for you. So there's other things you can do, and one of them is just to spatter water onto your damp painting. Don't do it on a wet painting because it'll just dissolve. The water will just sort of all dissolve into each other. So as you can see here, I'm carrying on. I'm putting the darks in here. Just try to be careful. I mean, obviously I've got a nice pointed brush here. Take your time, don't be rushed. My brush is quite big, but use a small brush if it makes you feel more comfortable. Just remember to keep loading it. Don't you sort of make the brush run out of paint then load it. Always load your paint every 2 or 3 brush strokes. That's just a really good watercolour tip there for you. I've often said to my own students, 1, 2, 3, the 3 being load your brush. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you might want to try that next time you're painting in watercolour. It's fun to do as well. Again, I've dried off my painting outside in the lovely sunshine, and I'm just brushing off all the salt. As you can see, there's some lovely texture there. I just want to give you a sneak peek at some of the tutorials available on my Patreon membership. Let's take a look. So here I have over 180 exclusive tutorials. Just scrolling here, you can see a variety of subjects, different styles, and also different techniques as well to get you started in watercolour. There are a variety of subject matters. I specialise in landscapes, seascapes and flower painting, and I'm also known to paint abstracts and cityscapes, etc. So there's lots for you to choose from. On many of the videos, you can get access to a downloadable outline sketch for you to keep, and it will help you with your drawing. You will also have the opportunity to join my private Facebook group to share your work. You can also share your work on the Patreon app as well. It's a great sort of growing community of budding watercolour artists and very, very supportive of one another. You get the chance to decide the type of watercolour tutorials I will be publishing and creating in the future, and you'll be able to do that by voting on my regular Patreon polls. You will also get access to over 150 watercolour beginner tutorials, and if you want to progress further, I have another tier available on my Patreon membership where you can get access to over 500 tutorials, and over 180 of them are exclusively available on the membership, and they are in-depth step-by-step tutorials. Many of the tutorials have downloadable PDF documents with progress photographs and step-by-step instructions to help you with your learning. Here is an example of one of my PDFs. You've got the finished paintings, a list of materials and colours, etc. And then the step-by-step photographs with instructions to take you through the process of painting the picture, along with the step-by-step video as well. So you can download this, print it and keep it for future use. So I really hope that tempts you to join my membership. And now I'm using the cadmium yellow with a little bit of the permanent rose, and I'm painting in some more darks on the top side of the trumpet of the daffodil. I'm going to push up some clean water up to the top there so you get a nice graduated shadow, and use the tip of the brush to create some marks. And I'm going to do that with each of the sort of interiors of the trumpet bits there. I've actually just added a little bit of quinacridone rust here on both those. Putting it in wet into wet, it just creates a little bit more shadow. If you don't have that colour, you could use burnt sienna. So I'm just going to paint on some shadow colours on the petals now, and I'm using that rust with some of the yellow just to create some shadows. You've got to be quite brave when you paint the shadows, so just go for it. The important thing is don't fiddle, paint it, don't fiddle afterwards, just trust the process. So I'm just painting this in using the tip of the brush, and maybe just then diluting and then just softening a little bit as well, and just going around each of the petals. I mean, I'm looking at the photograph and I just want to see where those darker bits are, and I'm just trying to emulate that with this colour. So I hope that's helpful. Remember, this is all wet on dry, and just soften as you go. So I would like to talk to you about these shadow colours, and I find actually mixing a pink and a green together, if you're unsure about shadow colours, creates a really good shadow colour. So here I've got a little bit, tiny bit of pink, and I'm going to add a little tiny bit of the green that I use for the background here. And what those two colours do, they're opposites on the colour circle, but what they do is they neutralise each other, and it's a really good way of painting shadow colours. And remember, these are the colours that you've used in your painting as well, and as you can see there, they're quite, you know, they're not too scary. And I have really watered these down because yellow can look quite muddy. Yellow flowers can look very muddy if you overshadow them. So I'm kind of really giving this a little bit less is more, because believe it or not, I'm a little bit scared too. I kind of want to be careful. I don't want to overwork these and end up looking like I've got daffodils that aren't yellow anymore. They're just sludge coloured. So I'm using my lovely dark green now, just using a bit of Payne's grey here and the original green that I had, the Prussian blue and the yellow. And I'm just putting in some stalks and stems and leaves. I'm adding a tiny bit more shadowy colour here. The painting, I've wet the surface of the centres here, and then I'm dropping that in wet in wet. I'm building up detail now. I'm getting towards the sort of business end of the painting. Just using the deeper cadmium yellow and just putting a few more marks, especially on the petals. I'm now giving the painting a little bit of a spatter just to give it a little bit of texture in the background. I've just used the cadmium yellow for this, watered down. I'm now making a really light green. I'm using the cadmium yellow to do this. It allows me to actually paint light colours on top of darks, because you're using a really light colour like cadmium yellow, or lemon yellow will do it as well. I've actually added now a touch more of this quinacridone rust, wet in wet, to give some nice sort of darks to the centre of the daffodils. Just finishing off, just putting a bit more dark in the centres, and just going to see how that dries. Sometimes you can leave a painting to dry and maybe come back to it the next day and see if there's any more work. I actually think The painting does need a little bit more work around the centres, around here. Now that's the first time I've done that in a YouTube video. This is the next day, and I'm putting in some more detail and darks in this daffodil. I'm using the Quinacridone rust and yellow, and I'm painting this wet on dry, and it's just a few of the veins going through the trumpet area of the daffodils. I'm using that same sort of dark yellowish colour and just putting a little bit more detail around the right hand side of the trumpet part of the daffodils, and a little bit on the petals. I feel braver today. I had a good look at it yesterday, and I really felt it needed more. And of course, what about a bit more spattering? I'm just really cleaning my palette. I'm putting in a few more lighter leaves here just to give the background a little bit more interest. And now I'm putting a mount round it again, just to see if I need to do any more. I personally find this a really useful exercise. You become very objective to your painting. If you put it up on a shelf and just look at it at the corner of your eye, you can normally see if you need to work on it anymore. It stops overworking and keeps the painting fresh. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you got lots out of the techniques. I tried to keep it really simple. Happy painting, and bye for now.